Welcome to the lair of the dragon. Welcome on this morning, 10:37. Yours truly, rock and roll. We're gonna go. First and foremost, as always, in the lair of the dragon, where there is rock and roll and philosophy, and of course, athletics, and a little bit of comedy and humor with it 24/7 in the lair of the dragon. Yours truly, independent Aspie, meaning that I do have Asperger's, so I might repeat things twice or three times, might have gestures which might seem a little bit odd, eccentric on the weird side, but yours truly is and has Asperger's, meaning that I am an Aspie. Nonetheless, great at philosophy, theory, and rock and roll, and of course, other activities such as fitness, by which we are obsessed. And of course, people with Asperger's, less than 1% of the population. Aspies of the world unite. We have interests when we indulge and when we study, learn, or whatever we do regarding those interests, which can be obsessive. Myself, I do have obsessive interest and have been obsessed about interest for the past many years, especially during COVID. Fitness, working out, training, and exercising. That is sports and geopolitics and all things related to the evolution of civilization and nature, and of course a little bit of rock and roll with it. Yours truly, first and foremost, I'm going to express my gratitude on this morning of Thursday, October the 5th. It is yours truly, autumn beginning and beautiful here in Montreal. Invite all to come see Montreal on the mountain. Mount Royal, my second home, and where I love to work out, train, exercise, and do rock and roll and philosophize and meditate atop the mountain, 7.7 kilometers from the Dragon's Lair of the mountain, Mount Royal. Please go. And if you do go to the Belvedere and Cognac and you go like yours truly goes in the forest on the mountain, please do not leave garbage, trash, bags, or aluminum. I do love people having fun there and working out and eating and indulging, but please, a call of the heart from this rainbow dragon: do not pollute, do not leave any trash, garbage there, because of course it damages the flora and the fauna. And yesterday was meditating because every time I go in the forest I pick up some aluminum cans, some papers, some plastics and bags, and I put them in the trash. And you can see that proof of that work because I do volunteering, because that's like my second home at the mountain, and I love going there, meditating, rock and roll, philosophizing, and workout, train, exercise. And of course, as an independent artist, athlete, double A, double trouble, artist and athlete, philosopher who's now perfect, far from it, pro labor, universal revolutionary centrist, who has Asperger's and has suffered such due to Asperger's, but during this COVID in the past months and years have been learning to accept it and to deal with it and to learn to meditate, because there's no medicine for Asperger's right now. Being an Aspie, you don't have medicine. You have to learn to adapt and be aware that you have that neurological and that component of life which relates to the Asperger's syndrome, that you have these more weird gestures and you can be clumsy. We are clumsy Aspies when we're not involved in our obsessions, meaning that our key interests, like with the focus, such as myself as an Aspie, when it's geopolitics 24/7 analysis, and I got proof of work in the past years. You can go back to 2019 when, paradoxically, perhaps being an Aspie, have studied, learned geopolitics and civilization and the interaction between nation states and civilizations and regions with detailed analysis and profundity, and analyzing military affairs and economic affairs and cultural affairs from a geopolitical perspective. And back then in 2019 had made a profound analysis and have kind of predicted and analyzed what is happening and what has been happening during the past 42 months, meaning 3.5 years, especially during COVID. As a survivor of COVID, please, I have another obsession with public hygiene. Public hygiene. Please increase in public hygiene when you touch something, when you go in a school, in a grocery store, when you go somewhere. Please disinfect the hands. It's super important to disinfect the hands because there's microbes, bacteria, and germs. Bacteria, germs, and microbes, and we got to increase in public hygiene. When we step outside, we have a public responsibility. And myself, being an Asperger's and androgynous Asperger's, I sometimes in public, please excuse yours truly, I perhaps scratch way too much where I shouldn't scratch too much in public. But hey, Asperger's, we learn to deal with the gestures and the more. I take that as a little bit with a little bit of humor, a little bit of comedy, and if I make people laugh, I don't mind to bring joy and humor to people. So no, don't mind being, laughed at. Sometimes I laugh at myself, although when involve when I am involved in working out, training, and exercising, because I am obsessed, and my interest for many years has been fitness, fitness, fitness. Being on a fitness journey for many years, lost 77 pounds, 77 pounds, 77 pounds, and still reminder that your fitness journey commences, begins today. Now your fitness journey begins, commences today. Now your fitness journey begins, commences today. Now today. Start with push-ups, with a march. It always feels good. It is my medicine and therapy of choice. So we people with Asperger's, where we are involved in those interests and we have certain interests, whatever the case may be, for it varies across people with Asperger's. Myself, it's fitness, that is sports 24/7, and working out, training, and exercising. We work out overtime in the lair of the dragon, and I encourage you all to start your fitness journey today. It's medicine and therapy for me, and it can be for you. And not only working out, training, and exercising, but geopolitics. Geopolitics has been for many years, and I've studied and learned, and I spent many years in the past, and with one foot in the library, one foot in the streets, vice versa, one foot in the streets literally, and one foot in the libraries. I'm grateful, thankful here. It's way better where I live here now, and I'm grateful, thankful that my rent's paid, electricity bills paid, and got food and coffee. Speaking of coffee, I'm gonna a little bit of shout out before I do proceed. I want to thank my anonymous sister friend, greatest woman I know. If I make a million, gonna give her half. If I make a billion, gonna give her half. A trillion, gonna give her half. And anonymous, and to the farmers, and coffee producers. Good coffee, the best price. But I gotta say a little bit of a, not necessarily a complaint, but a little bit of a, let's say a little bit of a disappointment, or whatever you want to call it. That my coffee, this coffee that I bought, was the most affordable on the market. So got this coffee about more than 3 months ago, I think in June or before, maybe between February and June. I got the same coffee. I'm not gonna shame the brand. It's an affordable brand, and one of those affordables, 925 grams, so that is 2 pounds, for the price of $6.97. Last week, when I got it, it was $8.99. So the price went up by $2.02. But proportional, if you calculate the percentage in those months, the price went up by more than 13.3%. Right? If you do the calculation, the terms of percentage, so it went up $2.02. 50 cents would have been more acceptable. $1 could have tolerated, but $2 to go up is pricey. It went up by a lot, I would say. 50 cents from $6.97 to $7.47, it would have been acceptable. $1 would have been tolerable. $1.50 would have been a bit too much. $2, too much, in my opinion, right? The price to go up, the percentage of the coffee went up by more than 13%. So not 5%, not 10%, more than 10%. When it goes up by more than 10% in just a little amount of time, less than a year, right? Like between 3 and 7 months, or 3.5 months, if you will, whatever the case may be, it was a lot. But still, it was the most affordable still on the market, and still the price for my taste, this affordable one that I found throughout the many different stores which we have here in this metropolis island, my home in this life and in a previous incarnation, as I do believe in reincarnations, as I am a universal spiritual teaching student. I learn every day. I say the word God, S-G-O-D-D-S-S. But I'm not perfect, far from it, rock and roll. And I want to, before I proceed, I do want to say again my gratitude, grateful, thankful. My rent's paid for the month of October, paid my electricity bill, paid my rent, paid my electricity, got food and coffee, and of course, I'm not perfect, far from it. And I want to give a shout out, salutation to the farmers, because food security, my brothers and sisters, starts with the farmers. Canada, coast to coast, Quebec, for the cheese, for the bread, for all the lettuce, for the tomatoes, all the produce, food security, super important. Takes food to maintain, and it has taken food to build civilization. Food is so holy, sacred, and divine as an element of civilization, as an element of well-being. Food security starts with the farmers. So thank you, farmers, truckers, butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors, grocery store clerks, all involved in the production and the distribution of food. The public workers, so lots of public works has been done here. Rock and roll for the public works also, 24/7. To those who change the aqueducts, the sewers, the aqueducts, and fill up the potholes with that cement, making it safer roads, and more beautiful aesthetically. So there's a lot of that going on in Montreal. So whenever I go on my marches to the mountain, I always think about them and all the labor and everything that they're doing, and underneath, underneath the sewers with the in steel-toe boots with the metal and the cement and the knowledge and the know-how to replace the aqueduct so that our water system, our drainage system, our toilets function properly. Civilization, brothers and sisters, as I present in my thesis as the people's doctor, athlete, and artist with Asperger's at the beginning of 2023, my brothers and sisters. I got first and foremost to put on the table hugs, kisses, tickles, and then some rock and roll, some brains and philosophy, and my theories, my Trinity, Holy Trinity or theory, CIT, Citizen Integration Theory, DRT, Detrol Fusion Theory, and Democratic Fusion Theory. I believe that Trinity or theories is what's best to be implemented now where we are in the 21st century for the collective North American civilization. And of course, I am myself a Quebecer, Canadian, North American. I always say North American, Canadian, Quebecer. I was born in the United States of America, in the USA, twice in past lives, previous incarnations, and I've served in the United States Army. What that Speaker of the House, what's going on? My brothers in the United States need this Asperger's to come for a week, stand in front of the White House and offer tickles, kisses, and spanking Congress. I think as a centrist, I need to spank both my children, in the Republican children, my Democratic children, right in the middle, and make a North American coast-to-coast, ocean-to-ocean, public-private partnership, New Deal, Dragon Zero for the infrastructure and for the defense and security. Not perfect, far from it. Incarnations aside, and I am a Quebecer, Canadian, North American, and lived many incarnations, was born here as a Quebecer in a past life right on this island where I have a memory of a previous incarnation where I helped Louis Cyr. Maybe that's why I met Louis Cyr in a past life. That's why maybe I started this past during COVID and my fitness journey, and of course it's ongoing as a survivor of COVID, being grateful for every day, every day, every day. I live carpe diem every day with hope for tomorrow for myself and for others. And I do believe that bringing to the table my Trinity of theories to be implemented via the fourth dimension. That fourth dimension is LOV. Without love, love is also action. After we got food, housing, shelter, you got to get that love in action and got to put it into practice. And of course, theory has to be put into practice. And again, a reminder that your fitness journey commences today now. So with some push-ups, with some march, with some hawks, with some squats, with training, and always encourage, and I've been and will call and am calling now for a public-private partnership to mass finance our citizens' physical activity across North America. Myself personally, I consider myself a North American, a Canadian Quebecer. Yes, I can be a world citizen. I consider myself being also a world peace advocate, but my brothers and sisters, and I admit myself, I do have aggression, but I channel it, I sublimate it, I work out, so that we harm none. I got the Dragon Army initiative. One of the mottos is Dragon Army. We channel the aggression with push-ups and hugs. We channel the aggression with push-ups and hugs. Channel the aggression with push-ups and hugs. With consent, consent, consent. Give yourselves a hug like you never hugged before is the main message. Never gonna turn down a good hug. HUG, kiss, tickles, working out, training, and exercising. Aspie, being an Aspie. I'm obsessed about fitness. That is sports and working out, training, and exercising. Geopolitics and all things of spirituality, civilization, and you can call it religions and sexuality even. And those things which I delve. Geopolitics, civilizations, and history, and religions, and some sexuality. In a parallel life, paradox, I'm also an Aspie, but I'm a scientist in a parallel life, also with Asperger's and computers, supercomputers, satellites, microchips, and all things of telecommunications. It's my parallel life where I'm a super scientist, also an Aspie, but nonetheless, it's only mathematics, the rational, cold, calculating, being a hybrid of my Scorpio brother Bill Gates, support the dancing goddess and the Dragon Kingdom. Give to charity, millionaires, billionaires, if you have. And my call. Thank you, farmers, butchers, truckers, nurses, doctors, grocery store clerks, public works. Super important in everything that I do, and fundamentally, my dream manifesting as the dancing goddess in the Dragon Kingdom is fundamentally and first and foremost a call for a public-private partnership. Public-private partnership. So again, grateful, thankful that my rent is paid for the month of October. Paid my rent, paid my electricity bill. Got food, got bread, got coffee, got tea. So I'm grateful, thankful for that. Thank you, farmers, butchers, nurses, doctors, grocery store clerks, all those doing a meditation now before I go into learning to accept and live with being an Aspie. Having Asperger's is a meditation on all the collective North American civilization now, meaning Mexico, Canada, US, and the islands, Cuba, Haiti. I include the islands in what I call the collective North American civilization as a philosopher. I believe that us North Americans, we're an emerging collective civilization, not to be mistaken with collectivism in that term of the sense, but meaning an amalgamation and a fusion of different cultures and elements and a new civilization, right? The North American civilizational complex, or the collective North American civilization, is an emerging, which is, I say, the main points to focus or to analyze is that the North American collective civilization is distinct but not totally divorced from Western civilization. So it's distinct but not totally divorced from Western civilization. So it's distinct but not fully divorced from Western civilization. Of course, we got military agreements, NORAD. Mexico got to join that NORAD, brothers and sisters. Let's get our Mexican brothers and sisters on top with NORAD and make a deal, coast to coast, ocean to ocean. You know, coast to coast, ocean to ocean, and I learned Spanish. I love Spanish, and I don't mind singing in Spanish, and wrote some songs in Spanish, and can rock and roll a little bit in Spanish. I'm always learning every day. Got to practice it. Where I lived in the past few years, 7 years or so, and I lived. It's my house. My home has been Spanish, English, French, Spanish, mostly English, French, Spanish, English, French, Spanish. That's it. That's all rock and roll. We gotta do a little meditation now. How many trucks for the truckers, farmers, all North Americans involved in the production of food, and the public works going across the highways, and all the trucks going east, west, north, south, saluting with all the goods, the farm goods, the potatoes, the bacon, the cheese, the avocados, the bananas, going from Mexico to Canada, going from Canada to Mexico, vice versa, all across the North American civilizational complex, maybe 156, 718, 333, or maybe a few thousand going now today. So I gotta salute them, gotta salute the farmers, the butchers, the public works, and the private and the public gotta work together. So we got all these interconnected supply chains, coast to coast, ocean to ocean. Is this Rainbow Dragon North American? It's called for my initiative manifesting as the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Kingdom, which fundamentally, that initiative, Dancing Goddess Army, Dragon Army, and the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Kingdom, is fundamentally a call for a public-private partnership across the collective North American civilization and across also, if you will, NATO member countries. But fundamentally, I'm a North American, Canadian, Quebecer. Personally, I do not view myself or consider myself a member of a diaspora. I do believe in reincarnations. I can be a world citizen, and sometimes it's difficult. We have tensions, civilizational tensions, and cultural sometimes, which sometimes are hard to admit. You know, North Americans, Canadians, Quebecers, North Americans, we are very diverse. You know, it's something which is a new civilization. North America is an emergent collective civilization, so of which we are part of, and of which we made the great compromise here in Quebec, the compromise of the French language, right? Civilization is also a privilege, but also a compromise. The public and the private liberty, individual liberty, the collective security and prosperity, and having the essential needs, and having a little bit of public hygiene with that, please. Some good loving, good hugging, good kissing, good. And of course, it's important to sublimate and channel, right? Myself, I do have aggression, but my brothers and sisters, I channel it. I sublimate it. Sublimation and channeling. Because if I repress some things, then we get sick, ill, disease, crooked, whatever it is, If we are to be free, freedom is, FREDOM, freedom is something new. Got freedom tattooed here. It's not that easy to be free. It's myself, I admit, by my solo. Got tiny hands, tiny feet, little tiny androgynous scar clit, clit dick. Whatever the case may be, gotta use a little bit of sense of humor, but it's freedom is something new, it's something new for humanity, And then we gotta define it and ensuring freedom. I'm not worthy to fight in the cause of freedom by by myself. To lift the sword of freedom is too heavy. I'm probably gonna drop it. Too clumsy anyways. I'm gonna drop it, and too heavy to lift. Freedom is something new. We're still struggling with it, wrestling it, and a little public hygiene with that, please. Freedom is something new, man. It's for our black brothers and sisters, white, black, whatever we identify, human race. I believe in the human race. We're trying to get free and become a new race out of past, and free. Right, that's free. FRE, freedom. You know, what are you? Where are you from? I'm free, going east, going west, going north, going south. But still, other questions of civilization, right? Because the eagles are free, the hawks, my favorite birds, are free. The snakes can be. They have some freedom, but they also have with certain rules, obligations, and duties. You know, to nature as we have to civilization in many ways, right? We have to civilization and to the other, to my brothers and sisters when I go to the mountain. You know, like march on the right side so that if a cyclist comes, doesn't we don't interfere, don't get impeding each other and like clash or whatever it is. You know, when we work out, both our joy, and I always stress that in those little things in my videos that we gotta have, and consent, and a little dialogue on channeling the aggression and the violence. It needs to be channeled. It needs to be sublimated into fitness, workout, train, exercise. The energy itself is not necessarily negative or bad. It's got to be channeled and sublimated. Force, right? Force got to be channeled and sublimated, and force, and we cannot base all our civilizational, especially for North America, Quebec, Canada, we cannot base everything on strength and force. So we got to have some more softness, software, hardware, software. We got to have some more, some loving. We gotta have some nurture, some care. As things gotta go together. Hygiene, yeah. I love to get dirty, love to get XYZ, love to rock and roll. We got the different energies. We don't necessarily have to be to harm each other. It's always a dialogue. Less XYZ factors. Sometimes self-harm. I've been depressed and suicidal. I've conquered depression and suicide. I've conquered depression. A lot of people with Asperger's. Sometimes we get depressed because I've made many friends during the past 7 years, and I've lost a lot. Probably say, who's this weirdo? I'm not gonna call him back. I made changed a lot of phone numbers, and probably I repeat things and I do weird gestures, and we have some strangeness when we do not focus on our obsessive interests. Because Aspies, people with Asperger's, aka highly functional autism, we have interests which are obsessive, very obsessive, very obsessive. We are obsessed, like myself included, about fitness, working out, sports 24/7, and of course with geopolitics, history, civilization, spirituality, and other things such as, of course, public works perhaps, and public hygiene. Those are perhaps my main obsessions. Fitness, working out, training, and dancing is my favorite sport. With the geopolitics 24/7, rock and roll, and maybe a little bit of philosophy and religion and civilizations and public works and everything of civilization, matters of civilization, whether history and geopolitics, and those are my main obsessions. And of course, the characteristics of Asperger's is being an Aspie, that when we read, study, learn, or meditate, philosophize about those topics, geopolitics, I can discuss for hours and analyze events and historical events and go in details and XYZ factors about geopolitics 24/7, or workout, train overtime. I work out, train overtime every time with the Dragon in the Dragon's Lair or outside in Montreal, Hog Island, that's for sure. So those are part of my main interests, main obsessions, to the point of obsession, right? To the point of, that's what highly functional or high functioning autism is, aka known as Asperger's. They're both the same thing, being an Aspie, having Asperger's, and high functioning autism, meaning that we do everything, it's just that we tend to be obsessed about those interests and have awkward gestures, such as sometimes in conversation, getting too close to people, eh? And that's a feature of having Asperger's. In dialogue and conversation, people with Asperger's tend to get too close to comfort. In the public, the personal distance, personal space. People with Asperger's, some, not all, but these are major characteristics. Of course, some more or less, some more than others, less than some, right? But nonetheless, people with Asperger's will tend to breach that that space, right? Nonetheless, during COVID, I've been very observant to observe the 2 meters, the distance, 2 meter distance, right? 2 meter distance. But we have that. We tend to not respect it. It's Asperger's, Tend to repeat things twice, or sometimes in my videos I say twice or 3 times the same thing. And my anonymous sister friend, if I make a million, gonna give her half. Greatest woman I know, and it helped me a lot with Asperger's during the past years. And I'll say, you repeat, she does like this. 3 times you said it. It's probably that's why I lost a lot of friends, and Those are the common problems which people with Asperger's encounter: loss of friendships and making new friends. Hey, friends with benefits only, please. Friends with benefits only, please. Friends with benefits only, please. Can you hug? Can you offer hugs, kisses, massages, feet washing, push-ups, squats, marching steps, cleaning, cooking, reading, writing, art, dancing, cleaning the mountain in the forest? Any of those? If you said yes to one, then you can be my friend. Counterpoint, something else. Finance, money. What is money fundamentally? To buy, sell. That is fundamentally money, right? To buy, sell, because we tend to go complex. Money, finance, currency, money. Buy, sell, goods and services. Fundamentally, that's what money is. Buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. Now, on the stock market, please give 10% of every million you make on the stock market, buying, selling futures, options, puts, whatever the case may be. In a parallel life, or in a previous incarnation, I was involved in finance. So I'm trying to connect, because I know a little bit of percentages. I know nothing really is so much, so complex. Is what do I know? I know I'm in the red already, but my rent's paid. I'm already in the minus of the bank and financially struggling, but I'm rich in kisses, theories, philosophies, and work out overtime, and nobody dances like this rainbow dragon. So, being an Aspie, Asperger's, it's those characteristics, and have learned, and I'm learning every day to deal more and more with it, such as perhaps we'll have tics, and yes, pardon me, but should be aware with it, but I shouldn't scratch that much in public, but scratch my little androgynous scarlet and and have weird repetitions. I might repeat things or have some stranger body movements, contortions, which are not necessarily tics, right? For people with Asperger's, it's not necessarily like tics. They're more type of repetitive, ritualistic. And some are my rituals when I salute the stars, trying to reach that Scorpio, Leo, and all the constellations and connect with a starlit Pluto, and Mars and the Sun, my Pope. The Sun is my Pope. The Moon is Popess. Where's the Popess at? Where's the goddess? Godds. Where's the goddess at? Goddess. Well, look around you. The trees are the hairs on the goddess's body, and above starlit heavens. 93 code. Anyways, spirituality aside, I'm a universal spiritual teaching student, and I don't know it all, but with Asperger's, meaning that I'm part of a tiny minority, small minority of less than 1% of the population of the world has Asperger's, aka highly functional autism. So sometimes the voice might fluctuate, the pitch of the voice, repetitions, and of course, encounter problems such as my problems has been, of course, I've had a few jobs and during COVID, and I always say that I died during COVID, and I did die in many ways, and nothing that I want to go back to. And where I used to live, it was a lot of mold, and it's way better here where I live. And I can't have open house, open doors, because it's too small, my underground lair. But it's better than I used to live, where it was a lot of mold, and probably that's why I got, or from COVID even, because I had COVID in February 2020, so 3.5 years ago, 42 months. Wow, 3.5 years since I first had COVID, and all the work that I had done since then, and I had a few employments which I really, really loved, but I don't know, it was temporary agencies, temp agencies, and what with the government, and I don't know. It worked for a few weeks, a few months, and unfortunately, said that wasn't didn't work out. I don't know. It's better to tell sometimes directly and give people benefit of the doubt, second chances. Everybody deserves second, even third chances. And if I offend somebody, I apologize. I don't mean to. And I fight my own battles. Fight my own battles, Dragon Zero Rainbow. Can put on the gloves on. Fight my own battles. If anybody wants to freestyle, battle rap, or rock and roll, or dance, battle, or put the gloves on, no problemo. Fight my own battles and XYZ. But nonetheless, and I did. It's true that a lot of people with Asperger's have problems with employment and jobs and employment. Difficulties with jobs and employment, which I had a few jobs, especially during COVID. And right because of Asperger's, there was not a renewal of contract, and people perhaps found me too weird, or I got too close to people for comfort. It's yeah, Asperger's. It's being an Aspie is like that. It's just you gotta let me know. You gotta give a warning and too close or whatever. But you know how people are, gossip, gossip, gossip. But I don't like to assume much and know it all. I know nothing. I'm ignorant in so many things, and I'm not perfect, far from it. I like my BDSM switch. I admit it, no need to spy on me. RCMP, CSIS, FSB, former KGB, Stasi are gone after 1989. Geopolitics one-on-one for you. Mossad, whatever the case may be. And I'm not perfect, far from it. I love my BDSM switch, and I always say to the leaders of the free world, if they do have something like that, be in the open. My Prime Minister, Uncle Legault, or Justin Trudeau, or Biden, because sometimes it can be something that people might try to use against you, blackmail you, or something like that. Don't try. I like my BDSM switch in private life, and I do like my BDSM, meaning bondage, domination, sadomasochism. Could switch, and I like pansexual, androgynous, pansexual, meaning that I consider myself androgynous. That's just part of me being an independent geopolitical analyst and theorist. I'm a man, I'm a woman, I'm a woman, I'm a man. I'm just androgynous. That's it. That's all. Rock and roll. There's not a big deal about it, or to go about it. And I have a little scar. Literally, I have a scar on my androgynous. So high functioning as well. Sometimes. Anyways, working out, training, and exercising is my obsession. Geopolitics, and perhaps that is another problema where I encounter where with making friends, and perhaps I was too obsessed by those civilizational matters and geopolitics and fitness, and that perhaps I didn't get a call back. But anyways, making new friends with benefits, and I always let people know. Like yesterday, I was on the mountain, and I asked a person about what they were doing, the planting, and I said to the person, if they ever need, I'm on the mountain. That's my Mount Royal is like my second home. I love to work out, train, exercise there, and if I always say that if they need some help, some muscle or whatever it is for planting, because they did a lot of planting. Thank you, those who planted those trees and new flora, lots of trees planted on the mountain. I was excited to see the work that is being done on the mountain to refurbish and replenish the nature. And I offered a little bit of help. I said, if you ever see me here, just call me a Rainbow Dragon, and gonna give you a hand, no problem. And I said to the person, I have Asperger's. I asked if the person knows what it is. I say, so don't mind if I repeat things. Or say things twice or three times, or have gestures, because I have Asperger's, and that's the part of Asperger's, motors and ritualistic gestures, perhaps. One of it is, I noticed, and thanks to my anonymous sister, I'm learning more and more. I tend to pass the cup a few times from a hand to another one. I said it jokingly, said, does it taste any different? I said, what do you mean? I said, did you notice what you did? I noticed what I did. I passed the cup, then to the other hand, then to the... So it's strange things like this, part of having Asperger's, being an Aspie, right? A high functional autism, which during the past years I've accepted, and I've become more and more aware, meaning I'm a minority, and not just the LGBTQ community, but being that I have Asperger's, and I have those things, and I've lost a lot of friends due to it, and I'm looking to make new friends. All my allies and armies, pledge your allegiance, legions, thou art family. I said, all my allies, armies, pledge your allegiance, legions, thou art family. All my allies, armies, thou art family, pledge your allegiance, legions. This Canadian North American was born in many past lives, many incarnations, right here from Montreal. Sending some love to the farmers, butchers, bakers, truckers, nurses, doctors, those now doing the cleaning of the city, public workers across Montreal metropolis who plant the trees, who plant the flowers, nice beautiful flowers. Yeah, they did a good job and cleaning the city. Public workers who come once a week for picking up the garbage in my neighborhood and throughout the collective North American civilization, throughout North America. The garbage. Here I have 3 services. Thank you for picking up the garbage, the compost, the garbage, and the recycling. Recycling, compost, garbage. Thank you for those public works who change the aqueducts and the sewers with steel toe boots with those big machines. And it takes brain and muscle, eh? Building civilization and the maintenance of civilization. requires some brains and muscle, right? To maintain civilization, to build it, has brains and muscle has been required, and now to maintain it, right? And again, we cannot base all our relations, interpersonal or civilizational, societal, based on just solely the factor of strength or what. We gotta have a combination of multiple dimensions, right? Myself being a great at what I am great, what I'm super good at, while at the same time I do admit that at some things I am mediocre, at some things I am average, at some things I am so-so. While I am so-so mediocre at average, at some things I am great, super, and excellent at some other things. So it's a balance, harmony, equilibrium. I'm super great when I work out, train, exercise. I marched in steel toe boots more than the generals of NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization members during the COVID. During the past 42 months, I marched in steel toe boots more than the generals of NATO. And my brothers and sisters, got love for the Canadian Armed Forces. I've just finished the Trinity Triple, 3 workouts, marches. You see the full-length videos on YouTube, of course. Nobody watching, but that's okay. I'm still working every day as an independent artist, philosopher, athlete, artist, philosopher, and geopolitical analyst and theorist. Aspie, artist, athlete, and philosopher and geopolitical analyst and theorist. And a little bit of comedian, comedy with humor and rock and roll 24/7 nonetheless. Over time, every time in the lair of the dragon. And during these past 42 months, I've marched in steel-toe boots, I could say, more than the generals of NATO combined during COVID. More than the generals of NATO combined during COVID. More than the generals of NATO combined during COVID. I marched more in steel-toe boots than the generals of NATO combined during 42 months since I survived the COVID. And I do say that I died during COVID in many ways, nothing that I want to go back to personally. So I want to live for today and with hope for tomorrow. For myself, better days, or for others, better days in the collective, and balancing the individual and the public in whatever shape, way, or form we can, and to move forward and breaking impasses and whatever the case may be, and learning to break impasses, whether psychological, spiritual, or otherwise, or whatever the case may be, in a financial, and now in financial crisis. And now I want to make a call of the heart. Call of the heart to the CEOs, multimillionaires, billionaires. Before Halloween, it's a holiday which I really, really love. Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. I wish I was a millionaire, billionaire to, of course, finance, finance. For the children's sake, and I love Halloween. I love the youth, and I wrote a few children's books myself. My team's children books are public works and the importance of regular physical exercise and public hygiene and everything about civilization and nature. But I love Halloween, and I wish that the prices of the candies and goods was reduced by half ASAP. So please, 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 ASAP. So not after the day after Halloween, but before. But now financial crisis just for the children and for relief for the families. That would be so lovely across North America. I would love to see that. CEOs, you got millions, rappers, athletes, rappers, whatever the case may be. Please, 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 reduce the goods, by half. The chocolates, the candies, the sweets, the little chips, everything that's distributed during the Halloween. Please, call it a heart from this Aspie artist, athlete, philosopher, geopolitical analyst, and theorist. Rock and roll 24/7. Call it a heart. This CEOs of the corporations of Metro, Loblaws, Empire Co., and the big ones in America, financial institutions, and millionaires and billionaires, I call it a heart, and governments and corporations. Please, 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 and CEOs making a few millions a year, and just this once, will give me some hope. I'm not totally selfless myself. I'm for myself and for the other, but not totally selfish. It ain't no way that if I would have millions and billions, what is money fundamentally? To enable us to do more for others, for ourselves, for society, for civilization, especially for the youth, for the children, and for nature in harmony with civilization, right? the candies to be reduced to as a relief for the families, right? Because usually it's done half price or more, 50% off the next day after Halloween, November 1st. Do it now, ASAP, this week, next week, 2 weeks before Halloween, so that more people could afford to celebrate Halloween. I am grateful, thankful to my nun, my sister got me a nice mask. That's what I'm gonna wear. I'm gonna wear a dragon mask for Halloween. Dragon mask for Halloween. Dragon mask for Halloween. So I'm grateful I got that. My nan, my sister, if I make a million, gonna give her half. A billion, gonna give her half. A trillion, gonna give her half. You see, if, I think some. I'll be back. Thought you got a package, but it wasn't. Yeah.
So, the door, I think, I know how to fix it, I think.
I'm doing a video now. You wanna fix it now?
No.
Yeah? Okay. In half an hour? Thanks. So I went to check the mail because I thought it was a mailbox, but it wasn't. It was for the neighbors, for the neighbors, for the neighbors. So I touched the doorknob. I touched the mailbox. See, this is a disinfectant. So this cleans bacteria and germs. So it's a disinfectant for the hand. Antiseptic hand sanitizer. See, antiseptic hand sanitizer. Antiseptic hand sanitizer. Antiseptic hand sanitizer, which I'm gonna use to clean because I touched the doorknob. I touched the doorknob. I touched the screen, and I touched the mailbox. So it's important, public hygiene, and I'm gonna do a refill. Yeah, I'm an Aspie. I have obsessions. Public hygiene and hygiene is a bit obsessive, although I do get dirty and I could do more. I do have a lot of color, not clutter. I have color, and I have perhaps too many things for my little space, but I do have not clutter, but I have color in my office room temple. See, now I'm gonna do a refill so that I'll make sure that I have when I go outside on my workouts, when I'm gonna go later on this afternoon to go workout, train, exercise, because I do workout, train, exercise every day, sometimes maybe 6 times a week, 6 days a week, which is perhaps a little bit athletic, but sometimes I do rest. But today I'm gonna go work out for calling on the multi-millionaires, billionaires to give to for the Halloween. There it is. Fill to the top. Make sure it's closed properly so it doesn't drip. Force and brains and muscle. Some force and there we go. Now I have it. I can rock and roll. And this was at a great price, I gotta say. And it's Canadian. It's made in Canada. It's got that little maple leaf there. North America. I consider products from North America local. When I say local, usually I mean North America, or I can say local. That means Quebec or Canada, or local from Montreal, Quebec. But it's Canadian. See, Canada. I got it for a great price. Look at that. $1. $1 Canadian. $1 Canadian. It's how much? How many grams? So it's doesn't say 1 liter. So net amount 1 liter, net amount. So 1 liter, that's a kilo. So that's great rock and roll. I got it, and It's super important. Hygiene, you know, I checked a little bit. So super important. Please increase in hygiene in public. And now back to the call. And please reduce the Halloween candies. Corporations, call it a heart for corporations, for millionaires, billionaires to reduce the Halloween candy, to give it to the costs and reduce it by 50%, by half, for the children, for relief for the families. If you're a billionaire, millionaire, come on, for the children. You're gonna be that selfish, millionaires, rappers. Y'all got 7 houses, don't need another one. Y'all need 7 houses, 7 cars. I'm willing to put something on the table because I know sometimes blah blah blah. We gotta put something on the table. Well, what am I gonna put? So I'm willing to give the CEOs, I'm willing to give a massage or sing some rock and roll for that good deed, or give some tickles, or sing some rock and roll, tickles, or kisses. All who will donate to make the prices of the Halloween candies, goods for the children, as for family relief, CEOs and governments who will work local, national, international, coast to coast, millionaires, billionaires of North America, for North American reduction of the prices of Halloween Act from Dragon Zero in half, 50%. 50%, 50% on the chocolates, on the candies, on the goods, on the little chips, on the goods. I'm gonna put on the table kisses. You can say no to the kisses. Tickles, you can say no to the tickles. Hugs, you can say no to the hugs. Massages, or washing of the feet. I'll wash the feet. I'll wash the feet. There you go. I'll wash the feet if you do that. The CEO's reduction of this, just before this month of October. For the month of October. For the month of October. That's what I put on the table. Sing some rock and roll, because I know sometimes just asking, I gotta put something on the table. Well, I put on the table, first and foremost, kisses. That I got the most. Kisses got trillions, for credited from the forgotten goddess. 718 trillions. The trillions is 1 trillion is 1,000 million billion. 1 trillion is 1,000 billion. A billion is 1,000 million. So a trillion has 12 zeros. A billion has 9. A million has 6 zeros. Right. So I got a lot of kisses credited to distribute freely to all my allies and armies. Pledge your allegiance, legions, thou art family. Rock and roll, blah blah. We put on the table tickles with that. Push-ups. I'll do push-ups. I'll do push-ups, squats, hawks, marching steps. I'll march. 3-hour videos. I'll march for hours in Montreal for the CEOs. If y'all reduce the prices of marching there, I put something else on the table. Please, please, please. S'il vous plaît, s'il vous plaît, s'il vous plaît. I put that on the table just for the children, for the families, relief on this holiday, which I love. I just love Halloween. You know, it enables us, because we all dress up, so it enables us to just be together in that way. That's how I see it to be. To just have fun and dress up and whatever costumes and creative, or whatever you want. And I would have want if I wouldn't have would have wanted to dress Barbie. Barbie, I like Barbie, and the movie was pretty good. Well, but I'm grateful, thankful, and I like the fact that I have the dragon. Maybe I'll wear something pink or red. Red, my favorite color. But I'm grateful. I got a greatest mask I ever had. Well, I have focal retrograde amnesia, so I don't remember much about in the past. Mostly, maybe it's COVID induced, or the mold where I used to live, or chronic illness, or whatever the case may be. But I do suffer from amnesia, focal retrograde amnesia, meaning I can't access memories of youth, adolescence, childhood, and mostly outside of the island of Montreal. It's amnesia, or it's caused usually by onset of when you were sick, and I was sick. That's from my writings and my USB keys and my memoirs that I have. But most important is me being reborn during this COVID, and during this COVID now, these last 42 months, and having illness and sickness, and survived COVID, and now lots of healing and regeneration. And I wish health to my allies and armies. And health begins with some fitness, some movement, some sweating, and your fitness journey begins today, as I'm obsessed about fitness, working out, training, and exercising 24/7, and rock and roll with it, and a little bit of that good rock and roll. And of course, I am not perfect, far from it. So this is the call for the reduction of the Halloween candy by 50%, 50%, 50%, one half. You can make it. So now is going to be another discussion on movies and dream interpretations. The interpretation of dreams. Sometimes dream can seem very bizarre, very awkward. What is that I just dreamt? I dreamt a few days ago something about water and sun. There was but there was almost coming from a very watery, very humid place, a shower which was moldy and kind of advancing towards a watery place where there was a lot of sunlight, more dark, humid environment. And if you're a Scorpio, you probably relate it because it's related to water sign. So, but the dream was kind of going from where it's kind of even moldy type of humid, slimy type of water, darky type of water, and then it's kind of like a sun shining and kind of me advancing towards the sunlight and more a bit of like more kind of cleansing and purification of the water, and then going towards more cleaner water where there's beachy and sand, but coming from this kind of looked almost like it was a nuclear power plant, like decrepit and decaying from the 40s and 50s, you know, from back of the Cold War. Well, lots of moldy type of water that was kind of toxic and toxic. Maybe that's related to my own advancement and my own, because I dealt with toxicity. Perhaps I was so toxic, you know, I tolerated with Asperger's and whatever, all the other things I have. And I've been by working out, training, and exercising, and lots of sunlight and accepting my little darkness and little scars and accepting, and then taking action, because action is required for cleaning, for purification, for in our own selves. And I always say when I go to the mountain that the air is so fresh there that first, if we are to cleanse somebody else, help somebody else clean, we first gotta clean ourselves, right? Myself included. I mean, COVID, so much toxicity, so much in my own self. Because if I am to help somebody else clean, gotta clean myself, heal myself, right? Before I am able to do the greater cleaning. And if I don't attain freedom and balance my forces and tendencies and lusts, hidden lusts, known lusts, revealed lusts, hidden fears, hidden, as then I not gonna be able to fight in the greater cause of freedom. And very few of us are. Very brothers and sisters, love you Canadian Armed Forces, served in the U.S. in twice previous incarnation. Read George Patton's poem Through a Glass Darkly. Served in the U.S. Army twice, but very few of us, myself not included, are worthy to fight in the cause of freedom. It's I got it tattooed there, but I'm still a work in progress. And my brothers and sisters, Canadian Armed Forces, love you. I marched for you during the past days. United States Army, NATO, NORAD, NATO. Putting on a uniform and shaving your heads, babe, doesn't make one worthy to fight in the cause of freedom. Shaving your head, putting on a uniform, that makes you worthy to fight in the cause of freedom, man. Ah, not really. We have doesn't. So it's a work in progress, myself included, dealing with toxicity and nature and lust and dreams and the irrational. Emotional is part of us. We can't base anything by logic and rationality. It's part of us, and that was a symbolic dream, perhaps own toxicity, which I'm dealing with and still struggling to accept fully my Asperger's, to watch it, not repeat things in conversations, and not when I speak with other people, listen more, and not try to say something and try to bring a discussion about my obsessions, my interests, and Asperger people with Asperger's, Aspies. We are so intense and focused when we do and when we discuss or when we do those things which we are obsessed to the point of obsession, those focused interests. That's Asperger's. Geopolitics, I can discuss, converse, and analyze and multiple dimensions and facets and go back and forth and come to conclusions and reanalyze and discuss events for hours and hours and hours. Because geopolitics, I'm an independent geopolitical analyst and theorist. I'm going to continue this series, you know. Or fitness. You can see my workouts sometimes are hundreds of workout videos during COVID as I lost weight. They're hours long, so super focused when I work out. Push-ups, hog squats, push-ups, hog squats, push-ups, hog squats, push-ups, hog squats, push-ups, hogs and squats, 24/7. Working out, training, and exercising. Working out, training, and exercise. Another obsession, fitness, along with civilizational matters, matters of spirituality, and a little bit of sexuality and public hygiene. So dream interpretation and movie reviews. Quick movie review. We're not gonna be movie, but it's gonna be the series known as Ahsoka, part of Star Wars. Ahsoka. I tend to pronounce it a little bit vice versa. Ahsoka, Ahsoka, Ashoka, Ahsoka, Ashaok. Ashoka, Ahsoka. So it's the story of Star Wars. It's great. Rosario Dawson plays really well, and of course I really liked it. I would like to see it actually again. It just finished this week. Tuesday was the last episode, 8 episodes, and I was looking forward to seeing it again. But of course, it was a nice setting in the Star Wars episodes, part of the Star Wars saga, the universe of Star Wars. And again, I'm a little bit perplexed. Spoiler alert! Spoiler. What's with Anakin Star? Why did he appear as a Jedi-like figure since he was Darth Vader, right? Since he became Darth Vader, Anakin was supposed to be a chosen part of the Jedi, and then he becomes Darth Vader, but he kind of redeems himself at the end, right? There's a little bit of a redemption. So the transformation, right? Because we all deserve second chances type of thing, but I was a bit perplexed, and of course, I really like the features, and of course, you got the dimensions of those who are nostalgic or want to reestablish the empire, those who are nostalgic and want to reestablish the empire, right? You have people always in the Star Wars saga who are either when the empire rules, and then the fall of the empire, the beginning of the new republic in the timeline. So this is post. This is the Ahsoka follows the destruction or the dissolution of the empire and the death of Darth Vader, right, and the Emperor Palpatine and whatever have you. And of course those who of course are pro-empire, pro-establishment, of course obsessed with order, those who are empire, and of course the main antagonist, if you will, Tron, General Marshal, Admiral. It's actually Admiral Tron is of course the one who always says, and I laughed when I said it the time. I said, how many times did he say it during this episode? He said, long live the Empire. So, but there's no more Empire, right? There's no more Empire. Empire is no more at that point in time, but they always want to reestablish, to also work with the Sith, the Empire, an imperial or centralized focus rather to a democratic, republican multiplicity. They want to have a more hegemonic and more based on rules and strict rules and observation of strict rules and discipline that they want to indulge in and want to characterize as their observance. And of course they want to observe those strict rules and regimentation, even regimentation of the empire is what they're pretty much about, the imperial system, what they want to focus to reestablish, right? So it's that dimensions, and really good. I would actually watch it again. I give it a, let's say, 7+7.7. Really good. Rosario Dawson, please, if you're a millionaire and you make some millions on that series or other movies, please give to Halloween the children, actors of Hollywood. Don't need to name names, the millionaires, billionaires, athletes. Please give to reduce the Halloween candies, for the children, please, and for the relief for the families in these tough economic financial times. And now we're gonna switch to some French. Bienvenue dans la grotte du dragon arc-en-ciel. Je vous invite tous et toutes à faire de l'entraînement physique régulièrement. L'entraînement physique a été sera ma médecine et thérapie de choix. Et votre aspie artiste athlète indépendant vous envoie l'amour. Aujourd'hui, la gratitude. Je commence par la gratitude. La gratitude aujourd'hui, mon loyer payé, j'ai payé mon loyer. J'ai payé ma facture d'électricité, puis j'ai de la nourriture, du café, puis du thé. La nourriture, du café, puis du thé avec ce café. Puis je veux remercier les fermiers de la belle province du Québec, puis du collectif de civilisation nord-américain, parce que nous, les Québécois canadiens, les Nord-Américains, on constitue un collectif de civilisation nord-américain. Un collectif de civilisation nord-américain. Les Canadiens, ensemble avec les Québécois, puis les Américains, puis le Mexique, on constitue un complexe de civilisation nord-américain. Et votre aspire athlète, philosophe indépendant, qui vous encourage à faire l'entraînement physique et qui vous chante du bon rock'n'roll pour les fermiers des champs de patates jusqu'au gratte-ciel. Donnez à charité si vous êtes millionnaire, milliardaire aujourd'hui. Je vais bien sûr discuter d'un appel, en faisant appel à tous et toutes pour la réduction des prix d'Halloween. S'il vous plaît, réduisez les millionnaires, milliardaires, aidez, faites de l'aide avec le gouvernement et le soutien à travers l'Amérique du Nord. Je fais un appel de cœur pour que les bonbons, tous les produits de l'Halloween soient réduits de 50%, de la moitié de prix. S'il vous plaît, réduisez pour les enfants. Pour les enfants, les jeunes, pour qu'ils s'amusent. C'est une belle fête que j'aime. Puis je remercie à ma soeur anonyme. Si je fais 1 million, je donne la moitié. 1 milliard, je donne la moitié. 1 trillion, billion, je vais donner la moitié. Mais j'ai un masque de dragon que ma soeur anonyme va me prêter. C'est un prêt bourse. C'est un prêt que je vais porter l'Halloween. Puis je fais appel, s'il vous plaît, millionnaire, ma Céline, puis tout Pelado, s'il vous plaît. Oh, pas de nommer des noms, mais bon, vous êtes millionnaire, milliardaire, s'il vous plaît, financez la réduction des prix parce que ça se fait après. Hein. Le 1er novembre, c'est la moitié prix des bonbons d'Halloween, fait que c'est le jour d'après, mais faisons-le avant. On est le 5 octobre aujourd'hui, dans la grotte du Dragon ce matin. Votre artiste, athlète, philosophe et un 7e comédien rock'n'roll. Il y a de la comédie, puis du rock'n'roll, puis avec la géopolitique, l'analyse, puis la théorie en géopolitique, 24/24 dans la grotte du Dragon chez nous. Puis des bisous, que j'en ai en premier, crédité de la DS, j'en ai par les milliards, trillions, des billions, milliards. Des bisous en premier, fait que je mets sur la table, si vous faites les chefs des corporations, les dirigeants, bien sûr les chefs, les dirigeants des corporations, des multinationales à travers l'Amérique du Nord, le métro, l'Oblast, l'Empire, puis le Dollarama, s'il vous plaît, s'il vous plaît, s'il vous plaît, coupez les prix en moitié. 50%, un appel de cœur de votre artiste athlète Aspies indépendant avant l'Halloween d'aujourd'hui, sinon demain, sinon la semaine prochaine, pour pouvoir permettre aux familles qui sont en crise financière d'acheter des bonbons pour la joie, pour pouvoir distribuer pour l'Halloween, puis les masques aussi, puis cadeaux aussi, donnez-les à 50% pour ce fête d'Halloween que j'aime bien. J'aimerais savoir la joie aux enfants. Quand les enfants ont de la joie, ça me donne la joie, puis ça me donne du bonheur, les voir en joie. Puis j'adore l'Halloween, puis moi-même, je vais porter la masse du dragon. C'est un prêt de ma sœur anonyme, la meilleure femme que je connais. Puis je fais un appel de cœur, puis je sais que des fois, juste le blabla, puis le parler, il faut que je mette quelque chose sur la table. Bon, je vais mettre sur la table pour les chefs dirigeants des corporations Dollarama, Hydro-Québec, puis l'Oblast, Métro, puis toutes les corporations millionnaires, athlètes, les Canadiens de Montréal font 7 millions et plus, 1 million et plus par année, puis les chefs des actionnaires qui ont les bourses qui habitent à Westmount ou quelque part. Je mets sur la table des bisous. Je vous offre, vous pouvez dire des bisous, des chatouilles, massage ou du rock'n'roll. Je vais faire des pompes ou des marches pour vous remercier. En octobre et en novembre, je vais faire des marches dédiées pour vous si vous le faites. Pour votre nom, pour votre bien-être, pour vous remercier, je vais mettre ça sur la table. Je vais faire des actions concrètes, soit des pompes, des accroupissements où je vais vous chanter du rock'n'roll en vous offrant des bisous. Vous pouvez dire non à mes offres de bisous. Des câlins, j'en ai en plein. Des chatouilles, chatouilles, chatouilles. Vous pouvez dire non à des chatouilles, non à des bisous, non à des câlins, mais à du rock'n'roll, des pompes où je vais aller à la marche, faire le tour du Mont-Royal un couple de fois, dans la forêt pour vous, les dirigeants de métro, de Dollarama, de toutes les corporations, si vous êtes millionnaire, milliardaire, puis vous aidez à acheter les bonbons pour les enfants, puis les maquillages, puis les costumes, de la réduction de moitié de prix, half, moitié ou 50%, c'est la moitié, là, c'est ça. Apprendre à vivre avec l'Asperger's. Bon, ces dernières années, j'ai appris à vivre, puis je l'ai accepté de plus en plus, spécial durant la COVID. Puis, qu'est-ce que c'est l'Asperger's? Soit le autisme hautement fonctionnel, donc je vis avec. J'ai des traits caractéristiques qu'on a, puis on est une minorité, hein? On est moins de 1% de la population. Hein? C'est moins de 1% de la population qu'on vit avec l'Asperger's. Puis on a des caractéristiques que j'ai appris à gérer. Pour le quotidien, j'apprends à gérer. Puis on répète les choses. Hein. On dit 2-3 fois la même chose, comme ma soeur anonyme, ma soeur des années, elle me fait comme ça. Ça fait 2 ou 3, 4. Ça fait 4 fois que tu viens de dire la même chose. C'est l'Asperger's. On répète des choses. Hein. On s'approche peut-être trop proche des gens. Aussi que la distance personnelle. T'sais. Dans la COVID, avec les 2 mètres, j'avais respecté au bout. Bon, mais c'est l'Asperger, c'est Aspies, c'est ça. Puis il faut le dire, puis il faut faire des avertissements, puis je vis avec, je le gère. Puis c'est quelque chose, c'est inconstant. Il n'y a pas de médicaments pour ça. Puis on a des obsessions, mais des intérêts qui sont les Asperger. Quand on travaille dans les intérêts, comme j'ai travaillé pendant des années, les intérêts de géopolitique, je peux en parler de la géopolitique, puis faire une analyse profonde avec du discernement, puis du questionnement, puis faire une analyse, puis regarder les multiples dimensions qui sont interpellées dans les relations de civilisation, des cultures, puis des sociétés, puis les voir ensemble, puis comment ils sont évolués, puis l'évolution, puis où qu'on est maintenant, puis peut-être pour faire une prédiction pour l'avenir, comme j'ai fait en 2019, un paradoxe. Hein. Peut-être ça a donné quelque chose de bon, peut-être pour le Canada, le Québec, les Québécois, Canadiens, Nord-Américains comme moi, l'Amérique du Nord, que j'appelle le collectif de civilisation nord-américain, mais j'avais fait une analyse de la géopolitique, puis j'ai sonné l'alarme en 2019. J'ai dit, hey, l'être humain, on se dirige encore vers un conflit international, soit une troisième guerre mondiale, qui peut commencer d'un jour à l'autre. Aujourd'hui, ça peut commencer. Hein. C'est sérieux quand même. Moi, j'ai fait appel pour mes initiatives, que fondamentalement, c'est un partenariat public-privé, qui se manifeste comme le rêve du dragon et la déesse qui dansent, soit l'empire de la déesse et du dragon qui danse, que je fonde principalement, et premièrement, avec des bisous en premier, des câlins, puis un peu de muscles et du cerveau, parce que ça en prend des muscles et du cerveau. Puis une autre de mes obsessions, de mes intérêts, c'est le sport, soit le conditionnement puis l'entraînement physique. Comme vous pouvez voir, quand je fais l'entraînement physique, les Aspies, hein, ceux qui ont l'Asperger, soit l'autisme fonctionnel, on a une intensité profonde. Quand vous voyez mes entraînements, mais je suis intense, je fais des ponts, je m'entraîne. Parce que je suis Aspie. Puis ces choses-là que je pointe l'obsession, puis peut-être ça a donné quelque chose de très bon. Puis j'avais créé mon propre système d'entraînement physique. Je l'avais créé en 2019, un paradoxe. Je l'ai fait pour que ça aille avec mon analyse en géopolitique. Puis l'entraînement physique, puis la géopolitique, c'est des obsessions. Avec la civilisation, puis la spiritualité, puis un peu de sexualité peut-être avec ça, puis l'hygiène en public, c'est mes obsessions. Des intérêts que j'ai étudié indépendant, puis je fais des études, puis d'écriture, j'ai écrit des documents, puis sur des clés USB, puis à la main, puis je suis créatif aussi, je suis un artiste, athlète, Aspie, philosophe qui danse le plus, poète, puis analyste, théoricien et analyste en géopolitique indépendant. Ça, parler de la géopolitique, vous venez dans mon aréna, puis on peut discuter plein de choses, mais aussi, il faut tenir compte que je vois ça, la géopolitique, du point de vue en étant québécois, canadien, nord-américain, parce que personnellement, je ne me considère pas un membre d'un diaspora. Je n'ai pas le sentiment d'appartenance à un diaspora. Je me considère québécois, canadien, nord-américain, puis that's it, that's all, rock and roll, nord-américain, canadien. Puis oui, ma spiritualité, j'y crois à la réincarnation, puis j'étais né ici, direct sur l'île de Montréal, dans une autre vie, une mémoire avec Louis C, peut-être à cause de ça que mon entraînement physique, ça donne de quoi. Ayant serré la main à Louis C dans une vie antérieure. Ah, ça fait mal, là, ça fait mal. Moins fort, Louis C, j'ai dit. M'a serré la main, je suis tombé par terre. Un petit peu de comédie aussi, dans ma grotte de Dragon 24/24. Merci les fermiers pour les patates, les navets, les carottes. La sécurité alimentaire commence avec nos fermiers, puis j'ai la gratitude que j'ai du pain, puis j'ai du café, du pain, du café, puis du thé, puis je veux voir bâtir plus de centrales déjà au Québec, je veux voir l'infrastructure, mais aussi des travailleurs publics qui changent les aqueducs, les égouts, hein, faut les apprécier parce que fondamentalement, mon appel pour mon rêve, c'est un rêve de partenariat public-privé. Hein. Mon rêve qui se manifeste comme le royaume de la déesse qui danse et du dragon, soit l'empire du dragon et la déesse qui danse, c'est fondamentalement un appel à un partenariat public pour le Québec, le Canada, puis qu'est-ce que j'appelle le collectif de civilisation nord-américaine, parce que je dis toujours, je suis nord-américain, canadien, québécois. Puis oui, je suis citoyen du monde pour la paix mondiale. Je peux l'être, un citoyen du monde pour la paix mondiale, mais fondamentalement, je suis québécois, canadien, nord-américain. Puis mes théories, mes appels, c'est pour d'un océan à l'autre, de côte à côte. À l'est, c'est l'Atlantique. À l'ouest, c'est le Pacifique. Puis avec nos frères et sœurs au Mexique puis aux États-Unis, donc j'étais né 2 fois dans des vies antérieures, d'ailleurs, servi dans l'armée américaine les 2 fois que j'étais né dans des vies antérieures. Puis tu sais, j'y crois vraiment, ma trinité de théorie pour l'implémentation. Apprendre à vivre avec l'Asperger's, être un Aspie, oui, des fois, excusez-moi, pardon, mais je me gratte, j'ai des bizarres, des gestes qui sont pas nécessairement des tics, mais c'est comme des gestes un peu rituels, un peu comme des rituels, comme ma soeur amie m'a fait, je passe le café des fois, là, ça m'a pensé, mais d'un main à l'autre, où je fais des gestes comme ça, où je fais des gestes ou des mouvements de corps qui sont un peu, peut-être, semblent bizarres, semblent un peu ridicules, semblent un peu, mais c'est l'Asperger, c'est des gestes corporels, puis je m'approche trop, on s'approche des fois trop proche des gens, puis on a nos obsessions, comme l'hygiène en public, c'en est une, peut-être c'est bon pour la cas. Maintenant, avec les germes, microbes, s'il vous plaît, lavez-vous, augmentez l'hygiène en public, s'il vous plaît, c'est un autre appel du dragon arc-en-ciel, puis je vous encourage à faire de l'entraînement physique. Encore, le conditionnement physique, c'est un autre intérêt au point de l'obsession, parce que les Aspies, on est comme ça, on a des intérêts, puis des fois, j'avais perdu beaucoup d'amis dans les années passées, puis peut-être c'est à cause d'avoir l'Asperger's, puis peut-être c'est à cause que je dirigeais les intérêts vers la géopolitique, puis les civilisations, puis l'entraînement physique, puis tu vois, c'est au point de l'obsession, puis il faut que j'apprends à gérer ça. J'ai appris de mieux en mieux depuis la COVID, puis je l'ai eu la COVID, j'ai eu en février 2020, c'était failli mourir, puis là, je dis souvent que je suis mort dans la COVID, mais je suis en train de renaître, puis il n'y a rien personnellement que je veux retourner en arrière, puis c'est mieux où je vis maintenant ici, où je vivais avant, il y avait beaucoup de moisissures, c'est ça que ça a causé mon amnésie rétrograde, l'amnésie rétrograde, ça veut dire que je peux pas accéder les mémoires d'enfance, jeune enfance, adulte, avant, plus peut-être avant la COVID, puis tout ça, puis avant l'île de Montréal. C'est l'amnésie rétrograde que ça s'appelle. Puis peut-être c'est la COVID, la moisissure, la maladie que j'ai vécue avant où je vivais, mais maintenant c'est mieux. Puis beaucoup de santé. Je renais dans cette COVID avec l'entraînement physique, puis du soleil, hein, puis de l'hygiène en public, s'il vous plaît. Puis j'ai mes petites obsessions, l'entraînement physique, puis le rock and roll, puis la géopolitique, puis l'hygiène en public, puis je me considère un artiste athlète indépendant, puis je vous envoie l'amour. L'amour, c'est l'action. Puis je fais appel, s'il vous plaît, à la réduction de 50% des prix d'Halloween, des costumes. Puis je vais discuter des films. J'ai vu le film, mais c'est une série de films de Disney, le Disney. Ashoka, ça fait partie de séries de la guerre des étoiles, là, aussi connue comme Star Wars, la guerre des étoiles. La guerre des étoiles. Que beaucoup sont obsédés par la guerre des étoiles. Puis c'est Ashoka, je l'avais vu. Puis j'ai vraiment aimé, je me suis regardé encore, je lui donne un 7+. Ça parle bien sûr d'après l'Empire, quand Darth Vader est mort, puis est tombé, la chute de l'Empire, puis la Nouvelle République dans la lignée de temps, parce que des fois ça va en arrière, hein, avec les films, ils vont en arrière de la durée de temps, l'historique ou l'histoire. Donc ça se situe dans le temps de la galaxie, l'univers, de la guerre des étoiles. Bien sûr, c'est des fois après ou avant l'Empire. C'est d'habitude comme ça que je classifie ça. Avant ou après ou pendant. Pendant, avant ou après. Après l'Empire, durant l'Empire ou avant l'Empire. De Darth Vader puis de l'empereur Palpatine, de la chute de la République quand l'Empire vient avec l'événement, puis de Darth Vader quand Darth Vader, Anakin il devient Darth Vader, puis Anakin il fait une apparence dans un petit peu comme, j'ai du questionnement, puis je veux voir la série numéro 2 parce que je me demandais comment ça il est apparu comme quand il était le Jedi, tu sais, fait que parce qu'il était mort comme l'empereur, puis là, ça fait penser comme il a-tu fait sa rédemption, tu sais, son bien pour le mal, il a-tu fait équilibre de ça, de point de vue du karma, je parle, le karma, là, qu'on appelle le karma, puis des choses comme ça, l'équilibre, l'harmonie, tu sais, puis tout ça, la balance, puis la rédemption, tu sais, parce que tout le monde a besoin d'une deuxième chance, puis moi-même en tant qu'Aspie, je sais que j'ai perdu beaucoup d'amis. Je me fais des amis nouveaux, vous êtes ma famille, prêtez allégeance, vous êtes ma famille, puis les amis avec bénéfice, c'est seulement amis avec bénéfice. Qu'est-ce que je mets sur la table? Des chatouilles, des bisous, des câlins avec consentement. Donnez-vous un câlin comme jamais avant. Mon message principal. Puis il est augmenter l'hygiène en public. Et puis je vous encourage à faire l'entraînement physique. Et régulièrement, l'entraînement physique a été sur ma médecine de thérapie de choix. Donc j'apprends à gérer un aspect, avoir l'Asperger's, l'autisme fonctionnel. Puis je me cherche des amis avec bénéfice pour des échanges et bien sûr pour pouvoir faire l'entraînement physique. Je vous invite sur la montagne. Et s'il vous plaît, si vous allez à la montagne, c'est comme ma deuxième maison, c'est la forêt. Ne laissez pas des canettes de déchets. J'en ramasse, vous pouvez voir dans mes vidéos, je ramasse. Je fais le ramassage des canettes du plastique sur la montagne. Quand j'y vais, des canettes, des plastiques et bien sûr des autres choses qui sont pas bonnes pour la flore, puis pour la faune, puis pour la flore. C'est pas bon, puis ça endommage, et puis ça fait endommager la flore, puis la faune, des canettes, du plastique. Il faut faire du nettoyage, puis pour être capable de nettoyer d'autres personnes, il faut premièrement se nettoyer soi-même, mes frères et sœurs, bien sûr, puis faire le nettoyage à l'interne. Puis bien sûr, ça commence avec moi-même. Moi-même, j'ai été toxique, j'ai de la toxicité, puis du nettoyage à faire, puis avant d'être capable peut-être de nettoyer quelqu'un d'autre, puis bien sûr de pouvoir offrir de l'aide, de quelle manière que ça soit. Et premièrement, il faut bien sûr nettoyer soi-même. Fait que si vous allez à la montagne, s'il vous plaît, ne laissez pas des canettes, du plastique ou des choses qui peuvent endommager la nature, la flore et la faune. S'il vous plaît, faire le ramassage, et puis bien sûr, ramasser après vous autres si vous allez à la montagne, dans la forêt, parce que nos travailleurs publics, merci les travailleurs publics pour le ramassage du compostage à chaque semaine, du recyclage, puis de la poubelle, puis à la montagne, bien sûr, ils font du ramassage, il y a des poubelles, fait qu'on a des services publics qui ramassent les poubelles. Fait que s'il vous plaît, parce que je vous dis ça parce que j'en trouve à toutes les fois, j'en trouve de canettes, du plastique, puis des choses qui peuvent endommager la flore et la faune. Fait que je fais un petit appel pour la nature, que ça soit en harmonie avec la civilisation. Ça prend de l'action, l'action. Puis ça prend du cerveau puis des muscles. Hein? C'est une danse constante. La civilisation, c'est un privilège. Mes frères et sœurs, comme je vous ai présenté ma thèse en tant que le docteur du peuple, artiste, athlète indépendant, ma thèse est bien sûr que la civilisation, c'est un privilège. La civilisation, c'est un privilège. La civilisation, c'est un privilège, mes chers. Puis bien sûr, la sécurité alimentaire commence avec les fermiers, oh merci. Les fermiers, les camionneurs, les travailleurs dans le public. Les infirmières, les docteurs, ceux dans les chambres qui sont faire le fromage, le pain, les boulangers, dans les charcuteries, on vous envoie l'amour. Puis, bien sûr, invite à la danse pour la Renaissance de la belle province du Canada, puis du collectif de civilisation nord-américain, premièrement avec des bisous, puis avec l'amour, puis l'action, puis bien sûr que je vous invite à tous à faire l'entraînement physique et vous faites un petit rappel que votre conditionnement physique commence dès aujourd'hui, dès maintenant. C'est comme ça je vois toujours que mon entraînement physique commence dès aujourd'hui, dès maintenant. Et en étant un athlète, artiste, aspie, indépendant, et philosophe qui n'est pas parfait, ayant l'Asperger's, commencer à vivre avec le mieux en mieux. Puis il n'y a pas de médicament pour l'Asperger's. Il faut que je gère mes obsessions comme la géopolitique, l'entraînement physique, quand avec des amis, j'ai perdu beaucoup d'amis à cause de l'Asperger's, puis je m'en fais des nouveaux, rien que je veux retourner en arrière, je vis pour aujourd'hui avec l'espoir pour demain, puis bien sûr, je fais appel à un partenariat public-privé pour la renaissance du collectif d'associations nord-américains, où donc on a fait le compromis du français pour l'Amérique du Nord, là, soit le complexe de civilisation nord-américain en tant que philosophe, une autre théorie philosophique que je vous ai présentée, puis que j'y crois. Je dis souvent, je suis nord-américain, puis canadien, québécois, puis oui, citoyen du monde pour la paix mondiale, mais ici de côte à côte, d'un océan à un océan. On a deux océans. À l'est, c'est le Pacifique, à l'ouest, c'est l'Atlantique, puis bien sûr, je remercie maintenant les camionneurs qui transportent les biens, puis les produits, les aliments du Mexique au Canada, au Québec. Ça vient des travailleurs publics, puis de sécurité publique. Hein. Il faut que quelqu'un vous aime aussi, vous chante aussi du bon rock and roll, puis pour les travailleurs publics, en vous invitant tous et toutes à soutenir, puis en faisant un partenariat avec votre Aspie, athlète, artiste, philosophe qui danse le plus pour la renaissance car du rock and roll, analyse en géopolitique qui naît chez nous de plus en plus l'athlétisme, puis je suis obsédé par ces éléments comme la géopolitique. Je peux en parler pendant longtemps puis en faire un discernement de ces choses, des intérêts obsessifs. Car j'ai l'Asperger's. Et s'il vous plaît, augmentez l'hygiène en public, une autre petite obsession, puis je vous encourage à faire l'entraînement physique. Je vous envoie l'amour, la santé.